Welcome to Fondy Famous. I'm your host, Kelly Northley with eXp Realty. Today I'm here with Dan and Ashley at Charlie's Banquet Hall and Pub, is that correct? In North Fond du Lac, and they're going to tell us a little bit about what got them here and what they're doing here. Go ahead.
I'm Dan, this is Ashley. All right. We bought this as a local establishment. It was here for a long time. We wanted to keep it pretty much community owned. That was actually our biggest goal. We were actually in the middle of buying a different house outside the community when this came up. And it was kind of, hey, we should buy a bar. That's really how that went. That's about as far as the thought process started.
Okay.
It wasn't like we didn't analyze the business plan, we didn't look at profit and loss, we didn't do any of that. We're just, we wanted to stay local, and we came here for a while. It's like, we should buy a bar.
Okay.
That's how
just
it started.
In.
So we just jumped in, I would say would be the way to put that, right? Yeah. So
Okay.
that went. Part of the things is this was an old school traditional bar, okay? And it is we have to make it and keep it league centric just because of where we are. We are in the tail end of North Fond du Lac. That's the way to put it. We're not on a main travel street, so we had to build that draw. And there wasn't a big draw when we first got it. I mean, there was your traditional bar crawl, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But building on that and making more of a draw, making it a place people wanted to come and be part of was, I think, our biggest thing, creating a brand.
And a community in it.
Yeah. And so and we were been pretty successful at that, I would say. So extensive, league play now, and we're, the state success from our teams that we support, they've been very, very successful, which is not something you normally see, like winning a state trophy for a bar, meaning like as a team, like a 4-man team in pool or a 5-man team is pretty significant, okay? Mm-hmm. And it might be like a one time in 10. So one time in 10 years, you might have a team that brings that home. Okay. And we've done it now 3 years in a row running since we had the bar. So and that's unheard of.
Right, so, that's impressive.
Yeah, and last year we had not only the state teams that won, but we also had a Masters team that won. And so this bar had never had a Masters team win for it either. We firmly believe a lot of that is, Ashley and I's, moral compass, if you want to call that you have to support the people that support you. And that's literally what it is, from the free league shirts, the free play, sanctioning paid for, sponsorship paid for. Mm-hmm. That's all things that are expensive. Yep. And they get really expensive, and a lot of bars, due to business decisions, they may not do that.
Right.
But we made that a tenet of us is, because that's our personal beliefs, is taking care of others, as part of our core. Yep. Whether it be an animal or a person, she's really big with the animal side, so which is good. Mm-hmm. But making that a tenet seemed to really gain a lot of traction.
Right.
It's the same with that example of state pool. When you go to state pool or state darts, most times you don't see the owners there supporting the teams.
You guys know.
Yeah, we make that part of our we must do, is being at those events. Supporting, going around, cheering on every team, literally running to get them a soda or a hot dog because their next match is up right away, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's pretty impactful. Yeah. I don't feel like a lot of owners are that involved. So
it's very impactful, and we firmly believe that's why they play as hard as they do to win.
Wow.
And it,
sidelines cheering them on
yeah, we firmly believe that. So, and obviously, both of us work full-time and do this as well. So, sometimes you can't always be there just due to you have requirements to be at work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think in that.
They're in spirit, though. And it sounds like they probably know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We've been very, very blessed by the amount of support that they've given us, I would say.
Yeah. And you guys have the biggest hall for pool in North Fond du Lac, is that correct? Yep.
Yes. We have one of the biggest pool halls probably in, a 50-mile radius.
Oh, wow.
County radius.
Yeah,
oh my
the county radius.
Okay.
The next biggest one is Oshkosh, and then Appleton, and then obviously Milwaukee.
Okay. And how many pool tables do you guys have here total?
8.
8. All right. So plenty of spots for pool.
There's one more hidden behind the
Is
backdrop.
there?
Yep, it goes up in that front spot.
Okay.
We do that for tournaments. So
Yeah.
and they're high quality tables, so majority of our tables except for one of them are diamonds. Diamonds are considered in the current state of pool your top of the line table. Versus traditional bar play in this area has always been on valleys.
Okay.
which is they're a good table. They just do not play at the same performance level that these do.
Interesting.
So these
That
are-
is something I would have never known.
Yep, these are what they consider high performance, high end tables.
Okay.
So, and that's helped a lot. And yes, there was one here when we bought it. There was one more local bar that had, did they have 2 or 3 at that time, or 4? I can't remember. 4 of them. But that was pretty much it for the area. Everybody else had valves.
Right.
And really that change came through that, providing that better equipment. It just made such a difference, and taking care of it is a big key. And that's kind of one of our philosophies here too, is taking care of the facility, keeping it clean, keeping it in order. You know, you don't always see that in bars in Wisconsin. You do in a lot. There's a lot of good bars, but there's also that old school bar mentality, I guess would be the way to word that, right?
Yep. And so is it really fun when you get to move all of these pool tables out for all of the events that you guys host?
It can be an adventure. To be honest, at first, when we first started doing it, we had like this lift, this mechanical lift that everybody has. You just kind of like put it underneath there, and it's like a lever jack, and it just picks the table up.
Okay.
The table's all wobbly and bending all over, and you try to move it. So we made a choice to make an investment into a very specific lift. It's actually behind that curtain. It's a big hydraulic, like mini forklift.
Okay.
So we can turn this whole hall around in 30 minutes.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And so that wall back there opens, 4 tables go behind there, 1 table goes behind here up on a rack.
Okay.
And we can tear it and break it down in 30 minutes.
And what kind of events are you guys all doing here?
We're doing anything from your weddings to your baby showers to your, bridal showers. Our extreme bar bingo we do every Friday. We might have special entertainers come to that show as well. Our karaoke, that's every Thursday, Friday. Those kind of things. Benefits have been really big. That's been a new thing for us because obviously, historically, benefits are hard. You know what I mean? Because you've got to have the staff, you've got to have the space, but also you got to have that engagement. And
Right.
building that engagement has probably been something we've been most successful at over, I'd say, the last 3 years, right? Yeah.
And how have those gone over?
Very well.
Good.
Very well. I would say, like, excuse me, our last major one was probably like Critter Junction.
Critter Junction and Adopt a Family.
And Adopt a Family in that Critter Junction, what we raised, like $8,000?
4,000, I believe it was.
Was it 4,000? $4,000 for them.
Okay.
Just in a one-day event.
And so what did you guys do for that? That's
We had
great.
a dart tournament, and then we had raffle baskets. So I went around the community and asked for donations to make up raffle baskets, and all the money that we received from that, as well as half the entry fee from the dart tournament,
Okay.
went to Critter Junction.
And you try and do fundraisers with them pretty often?
I try and do
Yeah.
at least one a year because
Okay.
I'm an animal lover, so
Uh-huh.
I'm very particular with the animal rescues in
Yep.
town.
Okay.
And if we could do more, we would. But
Like a
done.
friend of ours does Adopt a Family. She helps us out every year, so we sell, they're like paper/felt ornaments that she makes for like $1 a piece, and all the money we raise from October to almost Christmas time goes to those families in need. And we get, I think last year, we did 4 families, I think it was.
Yes. Yep.
And then we also do like a benefit where we get baskets and we run either a dart or pool tournament. Dart tournaments seem to be the best for benefits. But when we run those, we raise funds and we help the community and help the families out. It's really
Okay.
nice.
Yeah, the
That
big-
must, sorry.
Sorry, no, apologies, go ahead.
No, you're good. That must be really enjoyable to be able to use this as a way to give back and
Yeah.
to bring awareness to the community.
Yeah, so we did the nickels too.
Oh, yeah.
For everyone that bought a beverage here,
Uh-huh.
we would put a nickel in a jar
Okay.
for every drink purchased
Yep.
from, I believe it was November 1st until the end of Adopt a Family. And that money would go to Adopt a Family as well.
Yep, so that was kind of our part on it, was donating that nickel, and then obviously the time, the whole. It's been very successful, I would say. Essentially what that Adopt a Family is doing is they're buying all the Christmas gifts, they're making sure they have a good Christmas dinner, and then also any other supplies they might need, because think about it, at holiday time, it's not just the gifts
Yep.
and the food and everything else, it's also, you might have sanitary needs, stuff like that, and that's really what it was. And even like the hygiene drive box that's over there, that's something too that we believe firmly in too, is just trying to help.
Yeah. You can just tell, like the whole time that you and I have been talking, you guys have mentioned that, so it's nice to hear.
It's a pension of our being, I guess would be the way to put it. We always did it before we had a bar, we just did it personally, I guess is the way
Right.
to put it. And then, we kind of changed the bar into like a vector to drive that.
Yep.
I guess would be the word, right? So.
Tool. Okay. So you guys mentioned pool league. How do you get involved with doing that? How does that work?
We have a lot of local league sign-ups, but knowing about them is one big thing, you know what I mean? And then getting to that point where we got that awareness where everybody knew about it was really her. Ashley's really kind of a whiz behind the scenes. She's the social media person that putting the ads out, putting that community awareness out. That helped, and then also making this an environment players wanted to be.
Right.
Really helped get the experienced players in here. And like Ashley said, and many times is getting that younger generation interested, but then providing that, and I don't want to speak for her, but the mentor and coaching from them.
So that they know how to play pool better,
Yeah,
right?
it's really driven that engagement.
Okay.
And then
So you do the in-house.
Yep, and then she set up, a BCA in-house it's called. And she set it up digitally, which is, I think, the first time that was done in the area, right? That digital league. So your old school kind of league way is you get a piece of paper and you record all your stats. And it works,
Right.
but it's not really modern.
Right.
It's not really convenient. So Ashley did a lot of work in the background. I remember all the trouble she had to go through for that with getting it signed up with an official sanctioned league.
I can only imagine the back end of setting that up. I've done a few things like that, and whew. So
It's not fun.
No. Fortunately, she's very, very
time-consuming.
good at it.
It's a lot of new language to learn that they speak.
how did everyone respond to that? Were they pretty eager to use that, or?
People are very eager to be able to score on their phone and have that ability, like they do on the fall leagues that they participate in with mid-states.
Okay.
But we did have a little bit of resistance because of sometimes the way you have to put it in. It doesn't change throughout, but overall, it's been a very positive experience, and people enjoy being able to do it on the phone rather than having to do paper copies with everything.
Right. I would imagine that helps bring in younger people too, because it's there's an app for that, right?
Yes.
So.
And the in-house league is a perfect league for people to come out and learn how to shoot, and if you don't do well, it's not that big of a deal, and you have people that have been shooting for 20 plus years that can show you tips and tricks and how to stance and all that stuff and make it easier for you to learn and make you more comfortable and potentially participate in a fall league or a different league. It just kind of gives you that stuff to learn a new hobby.
Yeah, the biggest thing was building that culture of family and support. That, that's what we're championing. That's what we're the champion of for our leagues, is that nurture, that compassion, and then bringing people up from the league side of it. And that's what you really need. Because pool can be considered, if you want to call it, an old school traditional sport.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And trying to get younger generations that, sometimes in old school sports, you know what I'm getting at, you have to deal with that judgmental, well, we're not going to help you, you got to learn it the hard way just like we did.
Yep.
And that's sometimes, it's not your general, but it can happen. And making sure that didn't happen here was we were pretty fortunate, I would say, with the group of people we have that are really just supporting us and supporting this bar, that how willing they are to support these new players coming in and take them under their wing and encourage them. It's pretty cool to watch, actually, honestly.
It's probably pretty impactful too, because learning a sport is something that bonds you with other people. Someone who teaches you and mentors you in a sport of any kind. It's a really good relationship.
And pool is not necessarily an easy sport to learn. There's a lot to it. And so that really helps when you have that person who really knows, hey, if you hit it a little on the left, what we call English, on the bottom and draw it back, it's going to come off the rail and it's going to position you here for your next shot. Just them getting that exposure and working with these people. And we've seen it. We have a lot more younger players starting to come in and learn through the in-house and onto our leagues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's exponentially grown our league play here. But it's also really brought up that exposure level to the younger crowd in our area.
Yep.
So that's helped a lot.
Because it's still fun at the same time, because that's a big component of it too. You're learning a new sport, but you're also having fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys have food here too?
We do.
Yeah. What kind of food do you have?
Got anything from your standard bar pizzas. We have Leroy meats and meals.
There's
as well
something
as-
so good about a bar pizza,
Oh, yeah,
right?
it
I
tastes
crave it
way
all the
different.
time. Yes, something about it.
Then you got your burgers, chicken tenders, chicken wings,
Okay.
Two types.
any kind of like appetizer you can probably think of.
Yep.
We're trying to implement some breakfast stuff too for when
Okay.
we're open earlier in the day, especially for pool tournaments on Saturdays.
Okay.
And part of that, your normal, let's say, bar menu, you go somewhere to your local pub that doesn't have a kitchen, you're gonna get, what, a pizza and maybe some cheese bread?
Yep.
And, you know, part of our growth on our menu, having that extensive menu, was also updating our kitchen with our equipment meaning in there. So, like, we have our oven is probably one of the only ones that's actually in a bar in the state. I think if I can think of, there's 2 other bars that have one.
Wow.
It's called a Ultrasham Vector. So this is a big commercial air fryer. So, and Ultrasham is known in the food world, which that's actually where I work full time, is known as the top of the line, top of the top. And so, like, if you go to Chick-fil-A, 7-Eleven, those kind of places, that is the technology they're using. And so by bringing that in, we increased our ability for food capacity exponentially.
Wow.
So
And it's also a healthier option. 'Cause
And it's
it's
air
not
fried.
like
Yep.
deep frying it.
Yep.
it's actually very, very tasty.
Yeah.
We have an air fryer that we use very often.
So ours takes 3 half sheets.
Okay.
Big baking sheets.
Yep.
And it's 3 different cavities.
Can you put one in a house? Can you put one in my house?
You could, if you have 2-phase power. So think of your oven or your dryer. You could run one, yes.
All right. I'm going to add that to the list.
The expense you might not like.
Yeah, wow. Sounds right.
But
There
it's
you go.
nice because you can put like fish in there, you can put a dessert in there, and you can put something else, and none of the
Yep.
flavors will mix.
Cooks each one perfectly. It's
Okay.
pretty cool.
Nice. Sounds yummy.
It is. It's very good. You would be surprised. The cheese curds are amazing out of there.
Yes.
And all the food is really good, but you would never think that an air fryer would make cheese curds like it makes those cheese curds. They are yum.
It's almost like a new way of doing cheese curds too, right? It probably produces a little bit of a different taste than the traditional.
Yeah, and she had a lot of challenges trying to find us food that worked well because of the
Yeah,
breading in
I
there.
still do.
Yeah, it needs a different type of breading
Okay.
than your traditional.
something
It's still a good breading, but it's just like the
It's
makeup.
more of a batter.
Yeah. And the pizzas, oh my God, that was a difficult one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we went through 74 pieces, was it?
Yeah, to test it to make sure it worked.
Okay. To see what worked and how. And
Yeah, to dial in the recipes for it, like the cooking recipes.
Uh-huh.
Like literally, we went through like 70 some of them, and the manufacturer provided a lot of support. They have a culinary kitchen. I think I took like 44 pieces down there the first time.
Oh my goodness.
And we just made pizza after pizza after pizza after pizza.
As you bring some friends in to like test them out too.
Yeah. Normally when we're sampling stuff on the oven, if there's people here, we'll pass
Yep.
out the food.
That's a good one.
Because that's how we started the mango habanero bites.
Oh, yeah.
Because people liked them.
They loved them and they came up with well.
All right. So good food. Some leagues here because you have Dart League too, right?
Dart league, and then we also run an in-house cornhole league.
Okay. Oh yeah, you touched on that a little bit. Tell us a little bit about that if you would.
So really, it started, somebody asked us to do some cornhole here, and it just happened to turn out that our hall is the perfect spacing for the boards.
Okay.
So we can do it inside, and because of the arch of the ceiling, it kind of follows the arch of
Yep.
the throw. And then you have to have a certain distance between when we have these carpet strips for the carpeted outside. That's the exact perfect measurement to place your boards. It's
wow.
like it was made for it.
Wow.
And so we started with some traditional backyard boards, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. That first league, we started with them. And then we met a lot of people, and then one of the exposures we got was to a vendor for Skilled Cornhole is the name of the vendor. They build custom boards. They're actually right there. They're ACL certified boards. Or ACL level boards, I should rephrase that. So then we bought those first ones, and the play just kind of started growing because we had good equipment.
Yep.
And it was set up properly, and people wanted to play it. And then the next big step is we went to using all digital tablets at the cornhole stations, which was a common thing for the cornhole world, but bars weren't doing it.
Right.
So we made that
Lot
next
better.
leap, and that really helped.
Yeah.
I would say.
And that's where we jumped into doing it for Relay for Life, because every year for the Relay for Life tournament, they do an annual cornhole tournament. We're the ones that kind of, we run that every
Okay.
year for them.
Yep, and we do one down in Beaver Dam.
Oregon, or is it Beaver Dam?
I can't remember.
We're there once a year, and it's for a kind of a benefit.
It's for a team that was killed by a drunk driver, if I recall correctly.
So they have a benefit out in whatever town that is. It's
Cannot
Oregon
remember,
or
I'm drawing a
Beaver
blank,
Dam.
so I
believe it's
apologize.
Oregon.
What?
But they run a cornhole tournament, and one of us goes out there and So for 'em.
And then the
Okay.
proceeds from that benefit their scholarship fund.
Wow. You guys really are doing a lot in the community to give back and to get involved. So
Trying. Can
I
be
appreciate that.
difficult sometimes, but we try. So it's you get that sense of enjoyment too as well. You know, you're helping.
Yeah, you can tell that you really enjoy it just in talking to you and listening. So,
You got to give back. I mean, that's the core community. That's why it's here.
well, thank you for taking time to tell us a little bit about this. Would you just let us know where to find you on like social media and your website?
So we're on Facebook. It's Charlie's Banquet Hall and Pub.
Okay.
As well as we have a website. It's charliesbarnfdl.com. And then we also have an Instagram account and a TikTok. And those are both, I believe, Charlie's Bar NFDL.
Okay. I think I found you the other day and followed you.
TikTok,
So,
yeah.
yep.
And we're at
So.
1348 Wisconsin Ave in Northbound.
Excellent.
We're all the way down in the end, kind of hidden.
But worth the trip.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys doing this.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.